Check this.
Hello, this is Socially Triggered, and today's video I'm going to be incredibly sexist. For those who don't know, sexism is prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination typically against women on the basis of sex. I will be prejudiced. I will stereotype. I will discriminate. I will do all of this against women. Now on with the show. This video, I'm going to look at a choice that women must make, and one that is sadly hidden from most women in our society. Feminists have long pushed for women's equality, but women aren't equal to men, and will never be equal to men. Women are different and have an important role to play in society. It is the role the feminists will have women ignore, because that role makes them dependent on men. This role, as you probably should have guessed by now, is that of motherhood. The choice that women must make is to have a career or to be a mother. Feminists will promote the idea that women can do both, but this is a lie. Yes, women can do both, but not effectively. It's like the expression, jack of all trades, master of none. In order to compete with men in the workplace, women need to go to university and get into the workplace and focus on their careers just like men. To establish yourself in a career, it takes 4 to 5 years, if not more. With feminist calls to close the wage gap, they demand that women must forego having a family and focus long hours in the workplace where they can build a career. Figures show that young women are being very successful at doing this. Today, when comparing younger men and women of similar ages, there is a wage gap that favors women. So women can have a career if they want, but it comes at a heavy expense. In order to have that career, motherhood at a younger age is sacrificed. As a result of this feminist push for women to delay motherhood, women are having children much later in life. In fact, compared to 1970, when 1 out of 100 moms was over the age of 35, today's number is 1 in 7 women are over 35 when they first have their children. There are consequences to this decision. Here are a few of the risks that increase with increasing maternal age: gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, miscarriage, premature delivery, problems with the placenta. Stillbirth is roughly 57% higher chance if you're above the age of 35. A 20-year-old woman has a 6% chance of being unable to conceive, while a 40-year-old woman has a 64% chance of not being able to conceive. As for other risks, at the age of 20, conceiving a child with Down syndrome there's a 1 in 2,000 chance. That risk jumps to 1 in 900 when you're 30 and 1 in 100 by the time you're 40. Late teens or early 20s are the best biological age to be having children, according to John Marowski, a psychologist at the University of Texas at Austin. That's when, according to him, ocellates are fresh and the body's reproductive and other systems are at their youthful peak. Women in their 20s are least likely to have developed chronic health problems that would put them or their babies at risk. They have the lowest rates of miscarriage, stillbirth, and infertility, just from what I was saying before. Not only that, there's been studies that have shown that autism rates in children are 15% higher when a mother is in her 40s compared to in her 20s. The point of all these stats is to make a woman aware of the risks associated to have children later in life. However, there's even more to the story. Not only are they potentially putting their own lives and the lives of their children at risk, but they're also putting their own happiness at risk. Women who choose to have a career early in life also forgo potentially finding a mate, a soulmate. In 1972, the average age was 23 years for women to get married and 25 years for men to get married for the first time. I have to say that because people get multiple marriages. But for the first marriage, 23 and 25 for men. Today, in Canada, the average age of first marriage is 31 for men and 28 for women. So having a career is also delaying marriage. But not only is it delaying marriage, it's also delaying the possibility of marriage. In 2014, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that 124.6 million Americans 16 years old and older were single, or 52% of the population, compared to 37.4% of the population in 1976. Biology pushes for marriage. If we ignore it too long, biology pushes against getting married. One of the stereotypes that is true about women is they're at their most attractive to men when they're young. Men are biologically geared to prefer younger women. So if you delay finding a man or getting married until you have established a career, then you're less likely to ever get married. This is sad for women. And this is why, as I said, this is a major choice. You either choose a career or you choose a family. You can't have both, at least not a good version of both. You put your children at risk. You put your own happiness at risk. So women do have a choice. I'm not trying to take a women's choice away or prevent women from going into the workplace. That is the choice that they have to make. But women should be aware of what that choice means. If you choose to have a career, good on you. As a man, I'm happy with my career, and I enjoy it. For women, to be sexist here, they are not happy with having a career. Another thing that has come out of studies has been that if you could pick any job as a woman that you would be most happy in, the job that surprisingly came to the top of the list where women that they surveyed showed the highest signs of happiness was that of a stay-at-home mom. And it was not even close. It was by far the most happiest position that they could choose. The happiest job for a woman. Now, that's not to say that all women want to be stay-at-home moms, but it is something that is missed by feminists. They push the idea that women have to have a career at the sake of potentially their happiness. As a man, I can have a career because as a man, if I have a child, it's not me that has to take the great burden. And this is where the sexism lies, and this is where the inequality lies. And it's a biological inequality that if a woman gets pregnant, that child depends on her. For 3 years of that child's life, all the world is mommy. Everything that child needs comes from mommy. Women are biologically designed to be attentive, to nurture and care for that child. This is why Jordan Peterson mentioned the fact that women have higher levels of neuroticism. And all that means, it's a scientific term that really means that women are much more stressed and sense stress in others. And they use that as a nurturing mechanism so that they can sense if the baby has any needs. Because any alert that the baby is giving can be critical to keeping that baby alive. So women are very in tune with their children, whereas men don't have that. So the whole idea is that a woman is the one that's the one that has to bear that burden of raising children. What I mean is that a man can't help a woman with breastfeeding. He can help her financially, but he cannot help her with breastfeeding and providing that critical care that the child needs in early stages of that child's life. Both parents are necessary for the raising of children. One is the caregiver who provides the attentiveness and the actual food for the child through breast milk. And the other provides for the protection of the family and provides the resources while the mother is basically unable to fend for herself because she is very, very focused on the child. That's a very old, sexist, misogynist, patriarchal, whatever you want to call it, idea, but it's an idea that we've been biologically built to embrace. It is how we were made as humans. It's how we survived for the last 100, 200,000 years. We are biologically designed that the woman stays at home and raises the children, while the man goes out and hunts, does the things that brings home the bacon, and takes care of that woman. We have denied this reality. Feminists have denied this reality, but it doesn't make it any less real. My point is, if you deny it, sure, you can have the career, you can have all those things that you want, that the feminists are telling you want, but it's not going to make you happy. And you'll wonder when you get old, what if I had chosen the other choice? So, put it simple, you have a choice, career or to be a mother. Choose wisely. This has been Socially Triggered. Tell me about your decisions and tell me if I'm sexist. I hope I am, because I really do see men and women as different. And I think somebody should finally say that. Thank you for listening. Bye.